Parameters can be passed to both procedures and functions. The general syntax for passing parameters is in the header section of the declaration of a procedure or a function. After the function or procedure name prefixed by the optional schema, you specify the parameters with a comma-separated list within parentheses. Each parameter starts with a parameter name followed by the parameter mode, which can be in, out, or in-out. We will talk about them shortly, followed by the parameter data type. You can use the scalar data types like number, date, character, composite data types like records, collections, ref cursors, etc. Being able to pass around collection of data fetched in one program unit to another program unit through parameters can help in centralized data retrieval and efficient information exchange. You can also provide default values for parameters using the colon equal to sign or the default keyword followed by the default value. For example, here is the start section of the definition of a function getTier. It starts with create or replace function getTier. Then we open the parenthesis to define an input parameter pSalary in the in mode of type number. I generally like to prefix my parameter names with a p prefix. That helps me with immediately identifying them in my code later on, that they are input parameters versus locally defined variables. Parameters can be passed in several modes. The in mode allows us to pass input to procedures or functions. The out mode allows the procedures or functions to return something back to the calling client. And the in-out mode facilitates both passing in information and getting something back. You can have multiple parameters of each type which you can pass in the PL/SQL program unit. But generally, if the parameters are getting more than 4 or 5, then I think it gets a little complex managing as well as using them. In such cases, I prefer to combine them as a single record type and pass one parameter instead of many. That keeps it simple to understand and use. Parameters can also help you in creating overloaded program units. That helps you build friendly APIs with the same name which act based on the context of data passed into them. We will see how to pass parameters of record types and also talk about overloaded program units when we talk about packages. Before we talk in detail about each parameter mode, I also wanted to introduce you with the concept of formal and actual parameters. Formal parameters are the variables declared as parameters in a subprogram definition. For instance, here is the beginning of the procedure definition, create or replace procedure update EMP, which takes in pdptName parameter. Here, pdptName is the formal parameter which will be referenced by this name inside the update EMP procedure. Notice that I do not specify any constraints to the data type for formal parameters, as in here we are just declaring it to be a varchar2 and not specifying a constraint like varchar220 or varchar230. It gets the constraints from the actual parameter. We can also declare the formal parameters using the table name .tableColumn %type syntax like the employee.empdpdid %type we have used here. So here they derive their data type from the table column. For numeric types, they derive their size constraint from the table column, but for character types, they still derive their size constraints from the actual parameter. So what are actual parameters? Actual parameters are the variables or expressions passed from the calling client to the subprograms. They contain the values passed to the procedure or a function when it is called, and they also get the results back when the procedure or function finishes based on their mode. So here, in this code snippet, we have declared ldptName as varchar260, which is the actual parameter. Then in the execution section, update EMP procedure is called. Formal parameter pdptName is assigned the actual parameter LDPT name. Inside the procedure, PDPT name is referred to, and if PDPT name was of type out or an out parameter, it would have also been assigned value inside the subprogram, which would be copied back to the actual parameter LDPT name upon completion. You should take care that the data type of the formal and actual parameters are the same. If not, PL SQL will follow the normal rules of data type conversions during the assignment process. And if the data types cannot be implicitly converted, say a date into a number, it will raise errors. Further, these conversions would cause extra work to be done by Oracle and should be avoided to keep our code performing at its best.